Hey, Tom, you got any life advice for me, baby?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Lay it on me, mate.
Some life advice from my mom who lives in Winnipeg, man. She says, don't look back in anger, mate.
Oh, great advice. Groovy, baby, yeah.
Smash it.
Whether choosing to look forward or back when angered. Don't look backwards, baby. I love it. This one's from me, Mom. She lives in London. That's London, Ontario, mate. Don't get it confused. The show's called Oh Canada. Groovy.
Yeah.
Exactly, my man. Exactly. I love your energy, Tom. Always have, always will. That goes hand in hand with what me mom has to say, which is, all you need is love, mate. Words to live by. We're signing off from Winnipeg, baby. God save the Queen.
God save the Queen.
Yeah, I'll drink to that, mate. Last week was all Australia.
Just in all
I think I did
things
an Australian
altogether.
accent throughout the entire thing. So I think the beauty of that particular, that was, for those just joining us, that was a word from our sister station in Winnipeg. The program is called Oh Canada. They made their reminiscent debut last week.
Yep.
Welcome to the show. I'm Pat. Tom, how are you?
I'm good. I wanted to give some follow-up from last week, I think it was. We did our show on the childhood misconceptions. It was 2 weeks ago. So this goes back, I'm not even kidding, Pat, to the same living room with the same brother as the Booger and the Titanic.
The genius stepbrother?
Right, the wise sage. So we had a dog, Hunter, and he did something bad. I don't know. And my brother goes, spank him on the butt for being bad. And I've never heard that before. I was really young. I lifted his tail and I smacked his asshole.
Oh. Wait, the pet?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I think we need more stories from the stepbrother than just the 4 you provided, because based on how intensely wild the first 4 have been, 5 through 15 have to be pretty good. I'd love to do an episode. If you could compile that, list, I'd be wildly
They're
curious.
all good. But yeah, that's the day I learned how to spank a dog on the butt.
And what did it accomplish again? Not on the butt, but on the sphincter itself? Is that...
Right. But yeah, I know how to properly punish a dog if need be, although I prefer the...
Was the dog notably like, wow, man, wow. That's how you do it. Could you see the look on the dog's face like, okay, fine. I'm curious.
I don't remember. I'm crying. It's so embarrassing.
So your memory cuts out after the spank was applied.
Yeah, that's where it ends.
So you can't even tell the listeners if it was an effective form. And it has to be tail up. It has to be tail up.
Yeah, I just blacked out afterwards. I don't know.
Oh, God. What a moment for you. I don't know what to say.
Well, let's start the show.
Tom, how are you?
Good, man. Tired. How are you doing?
I think less tired than you, but I didn't see Moose Blood last night. How was the show?
Oh, it was great, man.
Yeah.
I do need to write an article about it, though, because, first of all, the first 2 bands were no good, no bueno. But I don't understand why there needs to be 40 minutes in between sets.
How many openers were there?
Well, there's only 3 bands total. So
How long did the first 2 play for?
First band was 23 minutes. I actually remember checking.
That feels long.
Because they weren't very good, unfortunately.
It's got to feel longer.
Yeah. I was crushing some vegan pizza at the bar, though. So
you're out of control, man.
Yeah, Satan, baby. Yeah.
Pizza party. Pizza. Whipped cream flowing like waterfalls.
But yeah, Moose Blood was awesome. Their singer had laryngitis and could hardly talk, but he still sang like an angel.
Oh,
and
nice.
I teared up a couple times just out of pure joy of being there. Their new album is like my favorite thing in the world.
What's the name of that one again?
I Don't Think I Can Do This Anymore. Came out a couple weeks ago. In fact, the Wonder Years, who used to be like my absolute favorite band of all time, worshiped them.
Until they wronged you?
Yeah, this new album, I just can't even listen to it because the new Moose Blood album's so good.
The previous one was called Blush or something?
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrific.
We should do just a whole episode on a review of those two albums.
Yeah, I mean, they are distinctly a reminiscent musical act. Julian Baker would be the other big one that we've just swooned over on this show.
Yeah, true.
We should do an album review. Yeah, I put it in the show notes as a reminder to us.
Sure.
Because we're probably we probably make up 50% of the people that ever read those. So
Right.
our listeners have grown substantially, but the show note readers are that's the next mountain we have to climb for sure. But yeah, I'm down for that. I'm down with that.
Cool.
But you are tired
Put on the
this
list.
week. What's going on? What's your life like this week?
Well, I've got some potentially good news. We've kind of talked about all the side work, the editing that I've been doing, and how it's a little too much working full time and doing the editing.
Because you're afraid you're going to go to jail because of it's illegal, right? To make money on the side?
No, it's just too much work. No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I was
This
getting
is
worried for your
America,
safety.
baby. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Land of the free, groovy.
No, it's just too much work. Like, I don't have time for it all. And the podcast work, I make about twice what I do at Tesla. So I'm trying to get more of that. And I didn't think that there were any part-time jobs at Tesla. And just kind of on a whim, I asked our like office manager, like, there aren't any part-time jobs, right? And he was like, actually, we're hiring for one right now. We talked about it for a bit. It's a pay raise. I would get a company car. And he thinks I'm perfect for the job. And it would be only 3 or 4 days a week. So then I can take on more editing and wean myself off of that 9-to-5 life and just be a self-employed little money boy.
Money boy.
Money boy's not a good one.
Not to be or is it the best one? Not to be confused with finance boy.
Two very different things.
Money boy's
of which I am
intentions are a little more devilish, I think. It sounds like he's not planning for his future because he's all about the money, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't stop saying that. That's all I can say.
As soon as you let's try doing O Canada this week, like more Austin Powers British instead of like Oasis like we tried to do last week. I, like you, can't stop saying groovy and baby. Which we should just do an Austin Powers episode, quite frankly.
Oh, man. I can't believe how old those movies are. So good. Still so good. They hold up. But anyways, yeah, what I was saying, I was very surprised to see that they had a part-time position there. And it's a job I would enjoy. Oh, my God.
Sounds like you would. So you're going to take it, obviously?
Better. Well, here's the thing. Megan and I really, really enjoy our weekends together.
Sure.
And this job requires either Saturday or Sunday to be worked every week. So it's tough, man. It's really tough because I don't see Megan throughout the week at all because she's gone so late with work and other things that she has going on anyways. But we haven't even had a conversation about it yet. So you're hearing any of this really before she is.
Wow.
Yeah. It's in the...
Is your instinct this would be a stepping stone to eventually just having all your income be editing work, which would be a good thing in your eyes? Am I getting your goals mixed up in my head?
Honestly, I don't think I can do just one thing full time because I feel like I'd go crazy. Like if it was just editing, I would start hating editing. So the short-term goal is to just have as much editing as I can, make as much money, get as many contacts as I can. I would eventually like to have people working under me to make that passive income. There's the finance boy coming out in me.
Whoa.
And
Money boy's not so evil twin.
Right. But I think working part-time at Tesla is the best possible scenario because I get all of my benefits still at an insanely low price. I'm only working 3, maybe 4 days a week. And if for some reason I have a bad week with editing, I don't have many jobs, I can just come into work a 5th day, like I have a minimum schedule, but not a maximum. So I think that I'm just going to take it.
It sounds like you should.
I was talking to my dad today. My job, in a pros and cons list, all of the pros are conditional. It is only a pro when a series of events happens that allows it to be that way. But you know what I mean? Like there's nothing just truly good about the job for me personally. Some people love it, but
let me say this. Would you, being home more days of the week, be able to have nice breakfasts with Megan and like enjoy parts of the week more?
She wakes up early most days to go to the gym before work.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe not more than we have now, I guess, because there are some days where I am able to leave later, but then it's still a little rushed. Like, yeah, I guess that's a definite possibility. Maybe wake up a little early, make her breakfast. Also, I don't know her whole situation at work. I know she does make the schedule, so maybe if her weekend could change to Sunday and Monday, and then I can also have Monday off, we can still have the 2 days together. I'm not sure. I mean, like I said, we haven't discussed any of it yet. But
sounds like there's a lot in favor of you taking the part-time job, especially as you're editing, I guess, not business yet because you haven't LLC'd it and whatnot, but...
Well, Elemental is an LLC, and I'm funneling it all through
Are you going to like
ID.
log taxes as that being an editing company and stuff like that?
Right now it's just a media company. So yeah, I mean, the taxes are being paid by Elemental FM, but I actually had a separate LLC. It's funny, before I wanted to be a podcaster, I wanted to do podcast editing, and I had a company called Clean Cut Audio. The logo was really cool. It was just my glasses and my beard, which of course is ironic because that's
I did
not
like
clean
that
cut.
audio.
Oh, it's good. It's great. So I might try to bring that back and then separate the two. Yeah, I don't know. But I think either way, this other job is better in every single way, including the fact I would have a company car that I would keep at home.
That's nice.
With a gas card.
Yeah.
And most of my day, over 50%, would just be driving to appointments, which means more time for podcasts and audiobooks, which means higher productivity rate because I'll get inspired, which means I'm going to hustle more for the editing. Like, everything about this job is going to be great. Plus, our office manager said he thinks I would be perfect for it, and he wants to sit down and have a conversation about it early next week. And his language typically is a little more business, less personal. We talked today for like a half an hour, just randomly. I didn't like call a meeting or anything, and he was very... I mean, his language would indicate that he was basically saying, if you want this job, it's yours.
Yeah, it sounds like I'd take it. I mean, there will be moments during the week. I remember when my shift changed, and Jess and I were both on nights, generally 3 to 11-ish. We definitely started seeing more of each other. I mean, you work from the crack of dawn until dinner currently, right? And Megan is on more of a night side type situation?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the schedule. There are days where
I think there'd be some
earlier.
value certainly in how much you would see each other during the week. You could start scheduling in a midday nap, I guess, to see her like in the evening. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing about seeing each other during the week. We won't really any more than normal because she'll get home at like 7 if she comes straight home, but almost 3 days a week she's doing stuff after work. So there's not much benefit of probably seeing her more.
So what do you do on Saturdays and Sundays typically?
We'll get some cleaning done. We're going to be doing more photography stuff because I just bought her these studio lights, and we got this like backdrop for the basement and took like the most amazing portraits the other day. So we're going to go out and do more stuff with her camera, trying to get her like clients and money and do some video work.
Oh, that's
We'll
cool.
go hiking. We went up to the mountains last Sunday with the puppy and went for a walk, and we've been wanting to explore a little more. But usually Saturdays are a total throwaway. We won't really do much of anything. And then Sunday we'll try to go do something outside,
So if you worked part of the day Saturday, sounds like you wouldn't lose a lot.
I mean, we would lose time, but maybe not adventure,
Sure.
Still, I think having 2 days off together is incredible. Having them in a row is preferable. But maybe she can switch what her weekend is. I don't know. She fought pretty hard to have weekends off.
And it would be for sure more money for you?
Yeah, it's a higher pay rate.
Not to mention more editing jobs?
I'm currently being interviewed for a contract to have several more shows a week of work for myself. And I quoted the guy almost double what I'm getting paid by everyone else now, which is still less than what some people charge. So if I get this contract to do like another 3 or 4 shows a week, I'm going to be making some really good money. So at that point, I know going part-time, even if I'm not making as much as I am now, which I won't because it'll be 30 hours a week compared to 50 when with that overtime, you can't make up for that no matter what pay rate I'm getting bumped up to. But that's not the focus. Like I keep trying to remind myself the focus isn't the Tesla money, it's the editing money, which is double everything else, you know? I keep trying to like really rationally like run the numbers, and I called my dad and he was like, yeah, that's not how you should be thinking about it. Like, it's more time to edit, which is way more money anyways. You need more time to edit, you know?
Right. Sounds like you should, I think. And I cannot wait to hear what you decide. Sounds like all signs point to yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Especially if you're not losing too much on Saturday, if that's more of your down day, you know. It's one thing to miss out on eating cereal with a person near you or in a room that's near you. It's another thing to miss out on the hike day. So if you get to make all these other positives happen and keep the Sunday hike day, that sounds like it'd be a nice thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to cut up the show here and play a quick game?
Yeah. Let's do it.
You know, we haven't played this yet, so this is new. But you know that game, Would You Rather, where, you know, it's like, would you rather have Cheeto fingers forever or your skin peeled off by somebody? That's not an example of a real one, but...
I've always heard would you rather in the context of like, who would you rather have sex with?
Oh, no. I mean, that you could argue that is Mark Zuckerberg's first website that he made in his dorm room, the Hot or Not. Like, that's what that is.
Oh, I've got some stuff to say about Mark Zuckerberg, by the way.
Table it. Shelf it for now.
Sure.
But no, this is more like, would you rather have Cheeto fingers or like paint on your fingers and toenails forever or something? I don't know. It's just dumb crap like that. Okay. But I was hoping if you wanted to play a quick round.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have 3 here. Okay. So are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, you're in purgatory. Would you rather spend eternity at a bar making small talk with John Stamos or both Olsen twins?
Okay, there's a couple things here. First of all, I think the first thing that would happen is I'd be very upset that the Catholics were right and purgatory is real. I think that's the only religion that purgatory exists in. That'd be very upsetting, devastating, you could say. John Stamos, the grinder, I'm a fan of his.
Okay.
But both Olsen twins, it depends on if you could go back in time. Current Olsen twins, no thanks. But you know, if I could be 12 again.
I will say the Space Camp episode of their mystery show was life-altering.
Oh.
You gonna go Stamos on this one?
Unless it was the day after filming the Space Camp episode with the Olsen twins, I'm gonna go John Stamos, the grinder, for sure.
Okay.
If you haven't seen The Grinder on Netflix, I highly recommend it, by the way.
There you go. That's your song of the week. You just burned it on a Netflix recommendation featuring John Stamos. I hope you're happy with yourself.
Hey, and the guy from Wonder Years. Though.
Oh, sure.
So sorry.
All right. Okay, number 2. You're in purgatory. Would you rather have 0 fingernails or always have headphones on?
Well, since you didn't say earbuds, definitely headphones. I feel like that's how I've lived most of my life anyway.
Sure.
But then again, you wouldn't ever have to cut your nails. I don't know.
True. It's tough to know what they add. You don't know what you got till it's gone, if you'll allow me to quote Miss Morissette.
Wait.
Nope. I'm wrong. Joni Mitchell. My bad.
Wait.
As covered by the Counting Crows, of course. Apologies to my Aunt Colleen, who big Joni Mitchell fan, but that's not here nor there. Answer the question, Tom, please.
Definitely headphones.
Okay.
But I guess you have to ask what, if anything's playing on them, but headphones for sure.
Would it be different if there wasn't anything playing in them?
I would prefer that there weren't.
Okay, noted. That may come up again. It might not. It probably won't. Our final situation, number 3. You're in purgatory. Would you rather spend the afterlife always awake or always asleep?
Asleep, dude. Are you fucking kidding me?
All right. Sounds like that's an easy one.
We'll put a poll on Twitter, and all of our listeners can answer these questions as well.
Yes.
I know I say we're going to do a lot of things on the show, and I don't do them.
Right.
But we're going to do this one.
What's our Twitter for the fans real quick?
@_reminiscent_FM. There's also a link in the show notes.
I would say give us a follow, but I'd much rather you go to the iTunes store right now and give us hit the subscribe button and rate the show. Right? Isn't that what we would prefer?
It's called Apple Podcasts.
That's exactly what I meant. And it may have been what I said. Let's go review the tape on that, will you?
Well, we'll listen back.
Okay.
You can find the link to that at elemental.fm/reminiscent/72. Yeah, I mean, you can rate and review if you want.
Would you rather have them do that or follow the Twitter? Come on, Tom. Make up your mind.
Twitter?
Yeah. What? Really? Interesting. Okay.
We can't talk to them via Apple Podcast reviews.
We're talking to them right now.
You think there's...
I don't know. I thought that was the point of podcast was to hit the...
Rate and review,
This
subscribe.
sounds like a discussion we should have had before the show or before any of the 72 shows we've done prior.
Before episode 1.
How does it what exactly should we promote? Anyway, yes. So if you feel that you want non-purgatory related, would you rather questions, hit us up on Twitter, of course. I have been taught that that's how you play the game, and I'm more of a would you rather.
Really?
I'm a would you rather purist, you could say. So if it's not purgatory related, I would like you to kindly get the fuck out of my face. Okay? I'm just playing by the rules, all right? There's certain things in life you do. Death, taxes, all of these scenarios take place in purgatory. Exactly. That's only true 90s kids would understand. Anyway, you had some hot. This week was, or I guess these past 2 days. I'll let you take this away. The Zuckerberg stuff. You said you had some. Were they steaming hot takes or were they just lukewarm takes?
I mean, to me, they're steaming hot, but it's a little bit of an echo chamber at this point.
Okay, and this will come out on Friday, so this will be a few days old.
Sure.
And Twitter will probably have reached peak robot joke quota at that point. But I'll let you have the floor.
You saw the one I put up?
I did, yeah. Lay the hot takes down, my man, and let us watch the steam rise.
I mean, there's not that much, but I watched several hours of I guess you could just call it an interrogation because that's kind of what it turned into. And I am absolutely mesmerized by it.
By what aspect of it precisely? The line of questions themselves or the person being questioned's appearance and general portrayal of himself in public?
I think just the absolute misunderstanding of how the internet works by the people asking the questions. Just, they should not be the ones asking these questions. They're clueless. Plus, for those of you who don't know, there was essentially a data breach where a third-party app developer was selling user data.
Is it a breach was it stolen or was it given? Because it would only be a breach if it wasn't just handed over.
No, you're right. It wasn't a breach. Very astute observation. It was information that was willingly provided to these app developers, and it was only information that is displayed publicly on Facebook. So to me, it's a non-issue, right? Maybe that's just me being naive. But the information is not supposed to be sold, and it was sold. And now people think it's like Mark Zuckerberg's responsibility for this. Like, how could you let this happen? Come on. Already, it's like, is that a serious question, right? There's 2 billion people on Facebook, and they want him to like look after everyone. Anyways, people are just asking ridiculous questions about, I don't understand why you can even say like people's privacy needs to be upheld. Like, the only information that has gotten out is information that people posted to their Facebook. If you post information on Facebook, it's no longer private. If you say it out loud, it's no longer private.
Yeah.
So I don't think there should be any assumptions that anything you post on Facebook is or will ever be private. So I don't understand what this issue is, right? I watched, like I said,
there are
several
still
hours.
warnings on packs of cigarettes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, at what point do you have to save the people from themselves to a certain degree?
Well, a lot of what people are asking is like, why don't you allow the users to opt in to sharing their data? And it's like, we do. They opt into making a Facebook. They opt into posting to it. And when they use an app that runs through Facebook, they opt in to giving the developer their information. Now, it's true that developer broke their contract by selling it. Facebook doesn't sell your data, but you gave it to them. It's not private. Like,
the thing that struck me as surprising was two things. One was those really dumb t-shirt ads that popped up for about a 2-month span about a year and a half ago. Like, are you a Browns fan living in New Mexico? This t-shirt's for you. You know, like, only true Browns fans live in Albuquerque.
Oh my
and I'd be
God,
like,
yeah.
how does this even what company is doing this? You know, like, this is so oddly specific.
Yeah. Oh, those t-shirts, you wouldn't get it. It's a Kelly thing.
Yeah, it's a Kelly thing.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
But only
so
the Kellys that live in
stupid.
northwestern Pennsylvania and that were born in the 90s. Now you'd be like, are these shirts being purchased? Like, there's no fucking way, man.
These are made to order, right?
Yeah,
Like-
exactly. I was like, good God. So I was like, that is troubling. At least for me, I was like, well, it wasn't troubling as much as like, okay, I get what this is, right? That's something that, like you said, I'm here. My stuff is public that I've made. That's understandable. The stuff that got me was when you started hearing people notice ads after a conversation they'd had near their phone. You know what I mean? And then they would be like, that seems a little deeper to me, you know? So, but people continued, they would just be like, technology, it's getting kind of crazy, isn't it? You know, it wasn't like I've never heard anybody be outraged by any of it. So I'm surprised that this, kind of like you said, turned into a news story, because those two pretty specific examples of people interacting with instances of, and not to mention the headlines about the Amazon home helper, so I'm not going to say the name because there's one in the room with me, which I've made a mistake on the show several times of doing. Their trigger words can be a little here or there, and they get falsely triggered and stuff. And I don't know. People buy these things and put them in their homes and sign up for these services. Kind of like you said, it's at what point didn't we understand what was happening? So with that said, though, it was interesting, that line of questioning when the guy was like, Mark, can you tell us where you stayed last night? What hotel? And he's like, I don't think I'd choose to share that publicly here now. Like,
Right.
Who did you all message this week in your private messages? He's like, haha. Then he kind of understood what he was getting at, you know?
Right.
And I guess it's not a outlandish question, you know, like, should you at least have a version of this where people can opt in to have their data shared if they don't care? I don't know. It's interesting because it has become so commonplace that you need to start regulating it like a good and a service, like a paved road or water. Probably not, but I don't know. What do you think? I mean, what's your overall, like, what responsibility comes with running a service that gets as big as this one has gotten?
Right. Again, we are both severely underqualified to be discussing this.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, we use the service.
Yeah,
so we're
I mean,
somewhat qualified.
I understand the slippery slope concern with some things, like the argument that some people try to use. It's not surveillance, right? It is targeted advertisement, which I appreciate, man. Like,
Sure.
I don't want to be getting ads for some body lotion. I'd rather have ads about the stuff I was searching that day and looking at, right? I mean, of course they know everything about you.
I like it better than them guessing at what men in my age group would want. So, like, if I
Sure.
tried to buy a hat and I get a month of, like, hat ads, it's like, oh, well, I already looked at the one I would have bought, so this doesn't bug me.
Right.
It's better than them trying to be like, bikini something, we guess?
Right,
You know, like,
right.
our data's not that, you know, like 2 years ago it would have been like, something about a boob, probably? Like, I don't know, but now it's like, how about this hat site you were looking at? Are you still interested in the hat? It's like, I'd rather have that than just generic, like, male between 18 and 35 Should we keep going with the breast stuff? It hasn't garnered any clicks yet, granted.
I think there is a difference between obviously surveillance and targeted ads. I think if it starts slipping into what can be considered surveillance, there needs to be
the phone,
some action against that.
Like a phone being near you and hearing you and an ad popping up on your next search feels like surveillance to me. But again, people buy the phones and buy the items. So like you said, they're kind of opting into it. Or has it become a part of everyday life that people
see? And that's the thing. I think a smartphone has, and this is like the deal with net neutrality, it is gone beyond a luxury and it's just a part of our lives.
Sure.
So do you think that something needs to be updated? I mean, I think the power of targeting ads, even through hearing a conversation on a phone, I'm interested in the power of that. I think it's really fascinating and I think it's kind of cool. Personally, I don't care, but I do understand how that kind of sounds a little like Patriot Act-y. We're like, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you got nothing to worry about. Like, there's some implications of that I don't quite agree with, but I don't feel worried about it. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Facebook is using this information in a way that goes beyond just advertising. And again, you're going to get ads. I'd rather have good ones. And if an advertiser is good at what they do and they give me something that I want, I'm happy to buy it and have them get a cut because I think they did a good job. Like maybe that sounds like really goofy, but I think it's awesome, right? I think that power is really cool.
Would your concerns lie more with the spread of misinformation? Do you think there's more they could be doing? I think I saw a clip of him saying the technology to weed out, I guess, what would you call those? Not false actors. I can't think of the right terminology for this.
Well, just like the fake bots who spread
whatever would have, and if they did, impacted or swayed voters in the 2016 election, right? I mean, the people that were all the memes and stuff on both sides, right?
I don't understand why Facebook is accountable for that, to be honest. Like, I could go out on the street today, pretend to be someone else, and say a bunch of lies.
Right, but you're not seen by millions or billions, right? I mean, at some point, you get big enough where you need to have a certain responsibility that impacts the country you're in so much that the government has to at least address what's happening. I don't know.
So, I mean, you want an entity, no matter how many tens of thousands of employees they have, to be responsible for what 2 billion people say? I don't think you can be. Like, I think that you should do everything you can, but I don't think that you should be responsible if one thing goes wrong, right? Like, the numbers are just too big.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, are you supposed to expect every user to go to the page, look at the about section, research the claim heavily? And I'm honestly asking this. I'm not trying to put any this or that on what I'm saying. Like, just honestly, this is an honest question. Should a general Facebook user, and you know how I feel about this, which you and I are pretty much team read a book, but,
right.
You know, that kind of becomes the government's question, right? When they're talking about Facebook, is like, how much research do we expect the American people to do on any given topic that could totally sway how they feel or think as they fill their feeds with stuff from pages they like actively and fill out what they're going to see day in and day out when they log on to the service? I don't know. I think there's a responsibility for weeding out. I don't know. And I don't know. They started putting information bubbles on news stories now. Sometimes they'll put a little thing on there that says breaking if it's from Washington Post or New York Times or another noted outlet. And there's a little information bubble on a lot of outlets now that you can put your cursor on and read about the news entity that's posting the story, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if that pops up for meme pages, which I know that sounds like a ridiculous sentiment, but those are popular and information gets spread through those a lot. So I haven't seen if they've done that for those, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think that an entity like Facebook is responsible for trying to weed out bullshit pages, right? But I don't think it's their responsibility, or I don't think...
Well, here, let me say this. I think you were saying there's a certain degree of the Big Brother thing where if you say, if you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about, right?
Right.
Then if you're a person who demands that type of wants and privacy, you should be able to hold yourself to a higher standard of doing the research necessary to not be duped by a meme page, right? So is the lesson here that Facebook can do what they should be able to do what they want and be a smart consumer and let the chips fall where they may? Or, I mean, would you argue, I guess, after looking at all this, that like the government is trying to coddle its citizens through all this? Or should they just start? I mean, I don't know. It's honestly a confusing time to be alive. Is that draking it up too much?
Well, I think that people need to be held to a higher standard. I think you saying coddling is a perfect term, because the best option I can think of for Facebook is on any post that comes up, they could put a little overlay thing that you need to click out of that says, hey, before you go and think of this as fact, maybe do some research on your own. Click here to X out before you can see the post. Like, that's not their fucking job to tell you to use your fucking brain. Obviously, there are some people who won't, but that's not their job.
They have seen like that checking your phone releases, what is it, dopamine?
Yeah.
Like certain, like nicotine and like stuff you find in, I guess, addicts, right? Stuff, right. Things that are addictive. So like you never see ads for casinos, or I guess if you do, you rarely see them without disclaimers like, do you have a gambling problem? Call this number, hotline now. You know what I mean? Get the help you deserve. Like, if something that involves dopamine in the body, does that need to come with disclaimers from now on? You know what I mean? No, I say that moderately seriously, because you could be like, well, sure, open a casino. And if the people want to go lose their money there, that's fine. But, I mean, no, right? Because there have been studies that show that, or the argument on the contrary to that is that gambling is addictive and you can really ruin some lives if you don't have the proper... Yeah. I don't know. So if the fact that this is a thing that involves dopamine in your own brain and body, should there be some coddling, right? I mean, like, could you become so addicted to this that you can't? I don't know. Maybe that's a different discussion from weeding out the bots and all that, but it's obviously very nuanced. And now you're sucking me in now. You said you were totally taken by his, what'd you call it, grilling this week?
Yeah.
His sip of water, on a lighter note, was so delightfully robotic. It was just next level. We can put a link to the tweet in the show notes, but
sure, that was so
that
funny.
Poor guy. I mean, people were Star Trekking him. They were. I mean, it was relentless, to be sure.
Well, what's funny is I saw those memes before I watched the video, and now that I'm watching these live streams, I think he held himself better than I was on my couch. I was, I wouldn't have been able to hold my tongue. The ignorance that the congressman spewed out was just cringeworthy, for sure. I mean, just stupid, just such a waste of time. Plus, 4-minute intervals isn't enough time to be productive in any way. I think 6 or 8 minutes, especially if they're making rounds and they're bouncing back, that's not enough time, But I think ultimately it's not Facebook's job to catch everything. I think they should try their best, and they should be obligated to try their best. But if things go through the cracks, of course, you can't police 2 billion people. I'm sorry. Like, it's just not going to happen,
So you are on advocating for more accountability for the common consumer?
Yeah, absolutely. In every aspect of life.
Right.
Like, and also these problems aren't specifically Facebook problems. Like, spreading fake news isn't a Facebook thing, right? There are Twitter bots. There are people who collect data everywhere. Google does it way more aggressively than Facebook does. I don't understand why Facebook is so...
Do you think it's because that's where everybody is?
Everyone's on Google too, though. Like, I don't know why Facebook is getting the treatment that it is. I'm coming at it from a place of not understanding why people think that this is what it apparently is. I don't know.
Right. And I know I say this every week on the show, and at this point it's kind of a joke, but as you know, I got rid of mine recently.
Right.
And there are still so many ways to stay in touch with everybody I've ever known, ever. So, yeah, get rid of it if you want to, I guess. I don't know. Read a book. Read an article this week from the first word to the last word, and talk to people in person and vote. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if, knowledge is power, that sentiment kind of becomes real. I don't know. It's cool, and we aren't the first people to say or talk about this, but ever since the Parkland shooting, younger people using the internet for good and collaborating and mobilizing for change and things like that. I guess that's something to be hopeful about, regardless of what your views are, the spreading of information and people being more active, I guess. I don't know. I don't really want to jump on either side of any particular issue, but do you get what I'm trying to say? I guess, is there Are we about to turn a corner, or is it all just going to be trash from here on out? Like, what do you think?
Just in all things altogether?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's easy to sit here and be like, well, why don't we just hold ourselves accountable and read anything at all, ever, right?
Right.
But do we think that's actually going to happen, or do you think it's all just going to keep getting oddly worse and we're going to run out of fresh water and then it's just over for humans like soon?
I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, right? Like it's got to hit like...
Well, you know what Harvey Dent says? It's always darkest before the dawn, my friend.
Sure. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, what sucks, like we talked about last week or a little bit, was how powerful social media can be in organizing and talking, and it's tough. It's tough. It really is. But maybe, I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe there's no reason to chime in at all because Google does more intrusive things, right? So,
but again, I'm not mad at them for it. Personally, I want all the data collected on me so that I can have the best experience online possible. But that's just me. I'll opt into that. That's fine.
Do you want people to at you, or are you finishing that sentiment with "Don't at me"?
Don't at me, bro.
Whoa.
No, you can't. No, you can't. That's fine.
I think you just brought some club horns down on yourself, my friend. Do you want to play a quick game? Split this up? That was a good talk. That was a nice little, we were just going to barely touch on it, but that turned into a nice, I think an interesting little chat.
There's a lot more I have to say, but we're going to wrap it up. What's this game?
Sorry, not a game. We're just going to hit the mailbag real quick.
Oh, mailbag. Okay.
Which has become a weekly thing, despite all of you just like begging us not to do this segment anymore. But, you know, like we say, we'll stop doing it.
Stop writing
We'll stop
it.
reading them. When you stop writing them.
Send them.
Yep. Okay, mailbag. This is from Carrie in Las Vegas, Nevada. Carrie spelled Karey for what it's worth.
Ooh.
The question.
Exotic. Mm-hmm.
Exotic. Okay, the question. Quote, is you a sucker?
I think if you listen back to my previous statement, no.
There you go, Carrie.
I don't know.
Thanks for listening.
Wait,
this one's next.
Don't
Next.
at me, Carrie.
Yeah, don't at him. This man does not want it to be added, despite the steaming outtakes he's laid down before us this evening. This is from Chris in Bangor, Maine. Quote, Dad?
Son?
There you go. There's your response, Chris. Moving on to our next mailbag question from Courtney in Dallas. Would you say this show ranks in the top 10,000 podcasts recorded in the U.S. right now? Bonus question. Is there any chance I can get Tom to send me a photo of his naked feet?
I gotta shave him first.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll have to, depending. Man, these mailbag writers just they are quite taken by you, Mr. Kelly, which I can't blame them. But they are quite forward with their requests.
Yeah, it's hard being a beautiful man. You gotta deal with that every day. I have been Googling all the podcasts ranked. I did find one site that ranks everything, and we didn't even come up. So,
okay, the answer's no, which is a testament to either that site's lack of ability or just how many podcasts there are.
Yeah.
Part 2 of the question is really where we need to know.
Oh, photo of the feet. Yeah, I'll upload one.
Oh, okay,
look at the show notes.
Cool. There you go, Courtney. Your wish is granted, I guess. Yeah. Happy ending there for everyone. It's a family show, folks. John. I think I listened to, what was the name of the song you had me listen to from last week?
The Way I Tend to Be.
Yeah, it was good. I don't think it was, I didn't give it a second or third listen, I will admit. Hey.
Okay.
I'm just saying, we haven't done the thing where we actually listen to each other's songs in a while.
True.
It was good. And it was, is he like a younger, newer, lesser, like is he still on the front end of his career, this person? No,
he's been around for a while.
Oh, okay. It was clean, it was good, it was poppy, it was nice. I have nothing negative to say about it.
Okay.
I think whatever it was didn't like be like, maybe I should give this a 2nd through 5th listen to really find out what's going on here. Just sounded like a generally happy tune.
Gotcha.
Is that the vibe?
Sure.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I got no qualms with that tune. But I do have a song for you this week.
Ooh, do it.
For the first time in a while. This is the first time I usually recommend literally anything other than songs. And it's not to make you upset, but
I'm over it.
it is more, those things I believe in more than just picking a song that week.
Sure.
Plus Guppy by Charlie Bliss and Post by Jeff Rosenstock were the only two albums I listened to for like a 3-month period. But no, I'm on to some new. Casey Musgraves' new album, Golden Hour, came out recently, and it is smooth as hell. And I think Butterflies is a song that you should listen to, but I also think Slow Burn and Velvet Elvis are 2 very good tracks off that album. It's a good album. Yeah, I just think it's definitely potentially career-changing. Not that she was doing poorly, but it's a big-time album. As Taylor goes pop, Casey Musgraves makes a statement in the country world with a kind of a poppy, as another writer on Twitter put it, groovy, boozy, nice, full album effort. So exciting. Butterflies is it's almost like painfully pleasant or something. It's odd. It sounds very pretty. It sounds like a sad song, but it's a song about her finding her wings. And anyway, I'll stop there. Good stuff from Casey Musgraves.
Awesome. I hate to repeat myself from, I think it was episode 68, but the song Can We Stay Like This by Moose Blood is just...
I'll revisit it. If we're about to do an album review, are we going to do that next week? Because if so, I can just start plowing or like getting back into that record.
I think I'm too emotional with their music to give a good review because I'll just say how good it is over and over.
I'll say this. You saw them live also, so you have a unique perspective in that sense. I think there's positives there as well. Did they play anything from Cheek or Blush or whatever that album was?
Yeah, they played a lot. They played a lot of songs, even from their first album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They were good live?
So good.
Nice.
I mean, their singer, a couple songs, the ones in the higher register, he had to sing an octave down, which was kind of a bummer, but dude, he could hardly talk, man. His voice was so messed up, but still, like, his singing voice was better than a lot of other bands that I've seen when they were fully healthy. Yeah, so it was good. This song is just doing it for me, though.
What's the band that you now hate?
The Wonder Years.
The Upsides, though, man. The Upsides.
Oh, my God.
That's an all-timer for sure. I would say they get a lifetime pass for that record, but...
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We haven't even done a Pop Punk's Not Dead show yet, but I think you're a little more passionate about that movement than I am, but I will say The Upsides is quite good. I had not listened to their new one. Did it come out recently?
Friday.
Okay. I think I'm like 3 albums behind on them just because it's one of those things where I don't want to even hear the next one because The Upsides was so good to me and it spoke to me right away that it's like, it's not going to top it, and I'm just going to learn to think they're less than what this is, so I don't even want to go there. You know what I mean? I just want them to live right here in this moment. Anyway.
The one after that was, I think I like it more. Suburbia, I Gave You All, and Now I'm Not.
Oh, you like that one more?
Oh, I love it. Love it.
The only one I really tried to dig into was the one with that song for Patsy Cline and stuff like that on it.
That was the worst song on that album.
I forget if that was the tune I enjoyed. I think the opener maybe is the one I like the most, but I only got a few songs in on that one. But anyway, Moose Blood has the thunder's been stolen, so the focus is on Moose Blood. Maybe we'll do an album review next week. Maybe not. Maybe we'll do a whole show as O Canada. Who knows? Tweet at us. Let us know what you want. Let us know what you think. I noticed that an oddly large number of our downloads come from Canada. I don't know if that's only Matt or Matt and his friends, but a lot of U.S. ones as well. So thank you, Julie, Caitlin, Amanda, and the rest of the crew, part of that crew being Tom's mother and father. Thank you very much for listening. But yeah, no, the stats have been solid lately. And anyway, it's a pleasure doing this program with you, Tom.
Yeah, likewise, my good friend.
Oh,
Pat.
yes. I guess we should wrap it up. And I guess we'll have some wedding updates as yours nears and my planning continues on, but we don't have to get into that this week. But yeah, those wheels are still a-turning.
Can't wait to hear it, man.
Yes, we're about to get our plane tickets to get to Burlington, so it's almost your wedding month. Maybe we'll do it then. When it becomes your wedding month, maybe we'll hit that hard again.
Okay.
Hard again like a cardigan, but cardigans aren't hard, and just because it rhymes doesn't mean you have to do it. Anyway, I love you, and I will talk to you next week.
All right, love you too, man.
Bye.